you're there, put hashtag replay, and we'll be able to get going on this. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Wellness 360 Live. And today we have a very special topic that I also do want to approach with a respect and also with a mindfulness of as well too, because this is one of those topics that as we're talking to our wellness community, we're always thinking, what do people need to know? How can we boost up our wellness education? How do we get prepared for ourselves or those around us? And when I was chatting with Kim Wall, who you'll get a chance to hear from today as well too, whether live or on replay, the topic of gastric bypass, gastric sleeve, or bariatric surgery came up. And as I was chatting with Kim about this, I don't know if it's like this for you, but I think more than likely, correct me if I'm wrong, who here has ever heard of anybody that is considered some type of one of those procedures at all, right? Like put a me in the comments at all. Maybe you've gone through that. Kim, she's gone through this as well too. So you see almost everybody is saying yes right there. I believe it's over 500,000 people a year go through one of these surgeries. And as I was chatting with Kim about this, I was like, to be honest, I don't hear much about it out there. I think it's one of those things that people just don't talk about publicly, which I understand why. It's a very sensitive, very personal topic, but I think it's important to dive into this to get a better education. So our purpose today is we're not going to, there's no judgment on this. Some people, maybe you've gone through this, maybe some people are considering this, but our goal is to present information from someone that's been there, done that. We want to be able to present the facts and also position a solution. I don't know if I would call it a better solution. Better is a subjective term, but I believe a more holistic long-term solution would be a good way to talk about that. So if that sounds like something interesting for you today, we're going to dive into that. And I believe it's going to be transformative with everything. All right. So if that sounds interesting, put a 1 in the comments below. We're going to dive into that as well too. But first, to introduce myself, if we haven't met before, my name is James Zheng. I'm the co-founder of a community called Wellness 360. I've been dealing with these quote unquote skinny drops now for the last 13 years. Maybe some of you are using them already. If you have, then put what your results have been so far. When I got introduced to them, I was in a place that I was stuck with my health and I wanted to lose some weight. I wanted to look good. I want to feel better. And I decided to give them a shot. I was super skeptical, but I purposely did not exercise to see if it worked. And I was mind blown. In 40 days, I lost 25 pounds. I was able to get abs for the first time. I've kept abs all since then. That was over 8-9 years ago. And not only did I change on the outside, but more importantly, and that's one of our main messages today, I changed on the inside. Like my body changed. My body got balanced. And that's what we're going to be chatting about today. And since then, we have transformed thousands of people's lives throughout the entire world on whatever their health goals are. And we've been educating the population about what's going on over there. I know. So with that said, though, I wanted to bring up Kim to talk about this topic in a bit, because when I heard her story and her experience on these drops, I'll explain what they are in a little bit. And we started to chat about this topic of bariatric surgery, gastric bypass, the sleeve, the band. And I just pulled up this image there. I'll highlight Kim here as well too. But in general, correct me if I'm wrong, Kim, there's kind of these categories. If someone's considering, and if I'm to define it simply, bariatric surgery is a procedure done where it helps you to not consume as much food physically. And as you do that, then weight loss can happen. So it's one of those things to consider as almost like a habit control, an eating control. And of course, if you don't eat as much, then you can lose some weight as well too. So it's an option that's out there for weight loss. Kim has gone through this, and Kim shared with me this photo, and I was shocked because I know Kim is who she is now. Because Kim, if you look at her now, she used these drops and she's had an amazing result. I have her talk about that story. But Kim, Do you mind? I'd love to ask you some questions about this. And Kim, now she's really like advocating behind just awareness. I just so appreciate you, Kim, that you're bold and willing to just share these details. I want to understand to be more mindful towards others and seeing how I can help others as well too. But Kim, how you doing?
I'm great.
Awesome. Kim, I'm still mind blown by that this was your story. But do you mind kind of walking us through like before you decided to go through gastric bypass, like what was going on in your life and what were the things that you were considering and researching and what led you to get that decision, to make that decision?
Well, I had actually injured my Achilles, which, as you see, I was immobile for quite a long time. I was already heavy set, being immobile for 2 years. I just, depression, all that stuff that comes with immobility. And I blew up to 310 pounds.
Wow. And you're how tall, Kim?
I am 5'7".
5'7". Okay, gotcha. So you got to 300. Okay, gotcha. So you experienced that medical emergency, things happen.
Yes.
And then at that point, like, how did you end up deciding to go towards some type of bariatric surgery?
Well, I had actually tried Ozempic for a year. I lost 15 pounds, but gained a whole lot of issues. So my
Mm,
stomach never fully was recovering. I was constantly sick and pain. Um, I believe that it exasperated my GERD because
wow.
I went from maybe going to the hospital every 4 or 5 months for a treatment for GERD to being literally in the hospital every month.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
and yeah, and then my
Okay.
A1C decided it got up to a 7, and I said, no, 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 we won't go any further than that. I'm going to do the first thing I can think of. And I had actually been following gastric bypass for a long time, and I knew a lot of
Mm,
people with success, a lot of people
mm,
without, a lot of people who had gotten really, really sick from it. So it wasn't as if I'd made a rash decision that was completely uneducated.
mm,
I knew what my risks were when I did it,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
I thought I know enough not to be hard-headed. I know to listen to what my doctors say.
mm,
So maybe I can bypass being sick,
mm,
you know,
mm-hmm.
and so I
Gotcha,
decided
gotcha.
to do it.
Makes sense. And thanks for sharing. So, I'm curious who here has heard of like Ozempic or Wegovy or semaglutide, these shots now, to catch people up. It was a drug designed for diabetes, but then it got approval for people to be able to use for weight loss. And we're just trying to present facts, right? So there's these options if you're considering how do I lose weight? And Kim, you have very strong reasons for wanting to lose weight, right? You injured yourself, you're not feeling good, you
Mhm.
want to be able to change yourself up. And how do we do this, right? So Ozempic is it's a popular option out there, but there are side effects because it's you can lose weight, but it's not always healthy weight loss. You said your A1C went up. Isn't it
On
supposed to go
Ozempic,
down?
correct. It's supposed to go down, but it went
Wow. Interesting. And obviously everybody's different on these types of things, but that's quite fascinating right there, you know? So yeah, many times Ozempic, these things, they actually weight loss will come. The weight loss is your muscle being lost. It's not even just the fat itself. And there's success stories on it and stuff, but just kind of be monitoring and mindful of these things. P.S. Did you have any reflux while you were on Ozempic and stuff?
I think that it exasperated my GERD.
Ah,
I already
makes sense.
had acid reflux and
Okay.
GERD like for years upon years,
Yeah.
but I think it exasperated it. It made it to where I literally had to go to the emergency room once a month.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So our goal and one message is just share. And once again, this is not condemning doing anything, right? Each and every single one of us, we're our own best advocate. There's a tool. These are all tools to be able to use in certain situations, but we have to count the cost, right, of what we want to be able to do to get the desired result that we're looking for. And Okay, so that's the Ozempic side of things. And nothing I say here today is meant to treat, diagnose, or cure anything. These are just experiences that we're sharing, right? So, Kim, now then you're like, okay, Ozempic's not working for me. I'm gonna go look at gastric. And if you don't mind me asking, like there are different types of options for bariatric surgery. Why bypass over the other ones?
Well, when you have anything like GERD, you are not a candidate for anything other than bypass.
Makes sense. Okay, gotcha. All right. So you made that decision to do that, and you did. And what were your results after you did your bypass?
After I did the bypass, I did lose. I got down to, in a year, I got down to 190.
Over 100
Um,
pounds. Congrats.
yes. And unfortunately, they said, well, after a year, you'll stop losing weight. And I was like, I'll be fine. I can see how I'm eating, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure I'll keep losing. Well, I got up to 210 like a year and a half later.
Wow.
I was like, oh, not only did I stop losing, I'm actually gaining weight again.
Oh my gosh. That must be one of the most debilitating, frustrating things to see.
It is.
Gotcha. And did anything else happen as well too in terms of side effects or things you noticed?
Well, yes, you're not absorbing the nutrition correctly with bypass because the food isn't in your stomach long enough for your enzymes and everything to get your food to where you actually can absorb the nutrients.
Mm,
Because it bypasses is what it's doing. It's
right.
bypassing, it's going through you, so because of that, I was definitely not getting the right nutrition. I had been hospitalized once. And one time I went to Med Express and we caught it quickly. I was dehydrated. And then the next time they actually kept me overnight because I needed potassium, I needed magnesium, I needed liquids. I was just everything, all the things I needed. So,
Yeah.
and that's simply because I couldn't absorb enough and I couldn't drink enough because if I drank too much, I couldn't eat anything.
Wow. Wow. Makes sense. So you're just physically can't like fit that much in your body. So like how much
Right.
max can you eat in a sitting typically? Like after you had bypass?
Well, it took me after about 6 months. For the first 6 months, it was about 2 ounces I
Wow.
could fit in my stomach at a time. And
Okay.
and then for like the next 6 months, it was got up to 4 ounces,
Wow.
and yeah, now I
Yeah.
can eat at least 8 to 10 ounces of food at a time.
Wow.
And I honestly attribute that to the drops, kind of just normalizing a lot of things in my body. So,
And we'll definitely talk about that. But I hope this is informative, right? Like, because I think, any bariatric surgery is one of those things, and maybe there's some people in this line that have done this and you know exactly what's going on. But I think for general population, unless you know someone close, understanding this, I'm big on empathy. I'm big on understanding people so we can meet them where they're at. Cause it's so simple, just be like, man, why are you doing that? No, there's a very strong reason why people make decisions like this. But if we want to be able to be health advocates and help other people, then I want to be able to understand from someone else's shoes. So thank you for sharing this because I'm like, okay, I get it. It makes total sense. So, Kim, you go through Ozempic, it doesn't work. You go through gastric bypass, it works, but now it's starting to go to the other side and there's some side effects. Now you're like, I did two pretty extreme things, to be honest. My body's a wreck. Now what? So when you took a look at these drops, I mean, I'm sure you've tried many other things too. Like, what was it about these that intrigued you?
well, the information that I got from you was very clear and concise, and that means a lot to me because
Mm,
it was in language I could understand,
mm.
and being a woman of middle age, we go through some things, and so, the biggest thing that I was going for was the hormone balance. I thought, whoo, I could use a lot less hot flashes, and I could, the weight loss, if it helps me to go back to that side of the swing I need to be on, perfect. But it was also the vitamins.
Mm,
So being able, I am a huge, I know liquid vitamins are the best. They
mm,
go in your system, especially if you can't get it through. If a pill is not going to be in your stomach long enough to dissolve long enough for you to
right.
get enough vitamins, it's
Mm,
not doing you any good.
mm, makes
So
sense.
getting those B vitamins and being able to take them sublingually and knowing that they're going to be absorbing into my system, I know that I'm going to start to feel better. And, feeling better just makes you move more.
Mm,
Things that I couldn't do because I was tired.
yeah, yeah. That's powerful. So these drops, if you're not familiar with them, they're known online as skinny drops, but they're really body balancing drops. There's two of them. Slender X, it's a homeopathic body balancing blend. Accelerate has things like vitamin B12, adaptogenic herbs. You take it 3 times a day on your tongue, and it's super simple to absorb. And it does do a lot of hormone supports. And as your hormones get supported and balanced, the byproduct are things like curbing your cravings, better appetite. It's making your body healthier, and weight loss is a byproduct too. And if you have woman stuff, we've seen a lot of things like hot flashes, like really be settled and all that as well. So it's been powerful. So you used it, and you've had some amazing results. Like in your first 20 days, I think this was 12 pounds. Like, so as you had your results, like how did you feel about your results? How did you feel as you were going through the program?
Well, I mean, thank you for forcing me to take pictures. Because I honestly have so much body dysmorphia, which comes with you or someone who gains a massive amount of weight like that. You always see the 310-pound girl in the mirror.
Mm,
Like it's very rare for you to not see that. Body dysmorphia is huge, it's real. So
mm,
I have, and I still suffer from it. I'm not going to lie.
yeah,
I still look at myself and think, oh my gosh. And even looking at this picture, I'm like, picking.
yeah, yeah,
But when I looked at that, I thought, my stomach has gone down so much. I can't believe,
yeah,
how did I not realize my stomach went down that much?
yeah. Man, that's crazy. And with the weight loss, like, is the system hard to use? Like, did you have to like kill yourself while you're on it, or?
No, it's so easy. So you follow, we have a suggested food list. The suggested food list helps with more than just weight loss. It helps to regulate your body and get you to feeling better, So those are the foods that help with keeping you from swelling up and your knees from swelling up and your joints from swelling up, things that people who have arthritis like I do,
Mm,
have. So it's been great. Like that in itself has been wonderful. And then you aid with the drops when you're following that, then the weight is just like, where's it gonna go off of
mm,
you?
wow. So how do you feel now? So Kim, or let me phrase it this way. You've done weight loss a couple of different methods, right? You use Ozempic or semaglutide. You've done gastric bypass. You've used this system with the drops. How would you say the difference is on how you feel now compared to the other ways of losing weight?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, semaglutide had me sick, like physically ill. Gastric bypass surgery, I felt great with getting some weight off my knees. I felt like, ooh, I'm going to avoid some knee surgeries now. But then I didn't have energy and I was tired and I'm dehydrating. And so there are so many other things that got in the way of me feeling just extremely wonderful. You know
Mm,
what I mean? And I should have been feeling extremely wonderful dropping that much weight, but I
mm,
wasn't.
mm,
And with the drops, every few pounds I drop, it's like I just feel different. Like I feel healthy. There's a
mm,
well-being about it.
mm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's weight loss is great. Weight loss with well-being is fabulous.
Oof. Come on. The mic drop right there. Well said. It's true. It's absolutely true. And you look good. Like when I say you look good, like I can tell you're healthy, right? You can tell when someone's actually well. And it's a combination, right? You also mentioned liquid vitamins. That's powerful to know. Anyone that going through, especially going through digestive issues, or you physically can't hold a lot, like what you mentioned. We have our Tahitian noni juice, which is one of the most highly anti-inflammatory juices in the world. So take a shot of this a day, 2 shots of this a day. It is incredible. I know that you really love this in combination as well too. And you found this
Yes.
really simple to be able to absorb.
Oh yes, yes. Now I because of the surgery, I do my 2 ounces, but I don't do my 2 ounces at one time because I don't want it to bypass. I
Mm,
want some of it to absorb. So in the morning, I do an ounce, and then in the evening, I do another ounce. I, I'm lying. I do 4 ounces. Okay,
nice.
I'm lying. I like it. I have a little wine glass. I put it in my a
There you
little
go.
tiny wine glass. And I just feel like I'm just, I'm doing something.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So key, especially if you're going through digestive things. We need the nutrition of the body. This is probably one of the simplest ways to be able to do that. So Kim, I'd love to, my last question for now would be this is to the person that is either they know somebody or maybe they've considered, they're thinking right now of should I consider bariatric surgery of some type? Like knowing what you know now, like how would you guide them? What would you suggest for them? What would you say to them? Obviously not medical advice, but what are your thoughts? How would you view things?
I would tell them, give me 6 months on my drops. Give me
Mm,
6 months. Give me 6 months on my drops and my noni.
mm,
Because for one thing, most insurances do not cover the full cost of bypass surgery or any of them. Most don't cover the shots. Okay. I know people who have spent 8,000 and above and gone to New Mexico or Mexico and Cuba or other countries for their surgery because they couldn't afford to get it in the US.
wow.
So give me 6 months and I guarantee you're going to feel better. I mean, I'm guaranteeing you're going to feel better
Wow.
and you will probably change your mind.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge. Try 6 months holistic before you do something that is a permanent thing. Well said right there. And Kim, thank you so much. Seriously, this is so important. Has it? I don't know about you, but anyone here, but I've never heard an open conversation about gastric bypass. Like I just have never heard it. This is in my life the first time I'm hearing about it. So you've informed me, you've inspired me. I'm sure you've inspired others as well too. If you got some value from today, give me a wave or put a me in the comments below. And thank you so much, Kim, for that. Absolutely. Kim, you're a rock star. That won't be the last that you're hearing from her. So, guys, if you have more interests or questions about the drops or the noni, feel free to get back to the person that connected you to this so you can take a look at that as well too. And if you want to share this information, maybe you thought of somebody, maybe they need to hear, literally, this could be um, lifestyle changing. Like this is a very sensitive and important topic. Maybe you know somebody. You can share with them this replay. We'll have it up on YouTube. We'll have it in our community and everything. But you might want to share this. And if you do know somebody that's gone through this procedure too, hey, Kim's a walking, talking billboard. Like everything's gonna be totally fine as well too. Right now, she can eat more. Now she's feeling well too. It's not over, so to speak. There's still ways to get better as well. So the message is there's ways to holistically help your body, regardless of where you're at. Consider it and see where that is at. All right. So, a couple things. Some of you might already think about, man, I know people that need this. You might want to consider there's actually a way to partner with this company and you can share cool information and tools like this with others. That's what Kim decided to do. is you can partner with the company one-time lifetime $30 membership. You get discounts on the products. And then when you share, you can actually earn credit from that as well too. So if you want more details, I'd love to invite you back on tomorrow night, same time, same place. We're going to be sharing with you on the flip side, how along with these incredible transformational products, there's also a unique online business system that is allowing the average person to be able to build something significant online, where you're going to leverage technology, you're going to leverage automations, you're going to have fun again in being able to share transformational products like this and be able to make more money. Tomorrow, we're going to be interviewing Ashley Riddle, who's the $1 million mama. She's earned 7 figures in this type of a business, but she decided to come here and went from overworked and burned out to being able to build a life of freedom in a very short amount of time, breaking records. So if you want to learn about that, then come back on tomorrow, bring people to you as well too. Other than that, everyone, hey, Kim, thank you once again for your amazing information. Everyone, feel free to unmute yourself and have a great evening. Talk soon, guys.